Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're working on the ZR-1. If you're new to the channel, my name's Jeff and this is my 94 C4 Corvette ZR-1 that I recently bought. She currently has about 123,000 miles. Her paint color is Arctic white and she needs a little love. And love she shall get today. In the last ZR-1 video, I showed you guys the date code on the right front tire, which was 0300. So that tire was manufactured during the third week of the year 2000. And it looks like the left front tire was manufactured the same time. So both of the front tires are 21 years old. It looks like the right rear tire was manufactured during the 14th week of 2002. So it's a little bit newer and in a little bit better shape. Here we have the left rear, which is the most interesting of the four. This tire has a date code of 107, so it's 3 digits, which means it was manufactured prior to the year 2000. So this code indicates that this tire was manufactured during the 10th week of the 7th year of the decade. And I can only assume that the decade was the 90s. So this tire was made during the 10th week of the year 1997. So this tire is 24 freaking years old. And it's definitely showing its age too. That is crazy. So it's a really good thing we're putting on new ones. So not only are we gonna change the tires in today's video, but I told you guys that we were gonna do the first mod and first repair to this car, which we are, but I also wanna try and change some fluids. I wanna change the oil, the transmission fluid, and the differential fluid. So before we head to the tire shop, let's get some of these fluids draining. We're gonna start with the oil, and yes, I'm using a breaker bar because I couldn't get any good leverage with my ratchet. So right, so that's loose. It's not too bad. All right, as you can see, the oil is draining. I've already filled up one pan, which is about a 7.5 quart capacity, and oil is just trickling out now. But I know there's a lot of oil in this engine and it takes a while for all of it to drain out, so I'm probably gonna let it drain overnight, and it'll be interesting to see how much we end up with. I've loosened the oil cap and popped out the dipstick so we have maximum flowage. And once it's done draining, we will replace the oil filter. All right, next we're gonna do the transmission fluid. And I'm gonna start by removing the fill plug. Oh my gosh, you guys, I think it's stripped. Oh my gosh. I hate cars. Well guys, there's a reason they say remove the fill plug before the drain plug. I've been fighting with this thing for about an hour now and I just can't get it. I think to begin with, the fill plug was a little bit rounded out, and I've been trying to get the hex socket in there, and there's been a couple times when I've felt like it was secure and I could start cranking on it, but I just can't get enough leverage under here. So I think I might have to take the walk of shame and just take it to a shop, because I don't want to keep pushing it and round it out even more. And there's no way for me to get my breaker bar up in here because the exhaust is in the way. So that's a bummer. For those of you guys who have been able to do this on jack stands at home, let me know your secret, because this is tough. Maybe I don't have my car high enough off the ground, but even if I raise it up, I feel like I'm still running a big risk of rounding the fill plug out even more. So I'm gonna stop, and I'll probably have to get a new one as it is. But anyway, I'll keep you guys posted on this. Let's head over to the tire shop and get these new tires put on. we are at Le Schwab. Left on this one. Alright, so far we've got 3 of the tires dismounted, and we have a left front sensor on the left rear wheel and a left front sensor on the right front wheel. So that's not good. Well, I made it back from Le Schwab and we have 4 new tires. They're looking great. We have all new valve stems and everything balanced out really nicely. So we are in good shape from a tire perspective. Now let's talk tire pressure sensors. Only one of the tire pressure sensors was on the right wheel. The car had 2 left front tire pressure sensors, 1 right rear tire pressure sensor, and 1 right front tire pressure sensor. The right rear tire pressure sensor was correct and in the right spot. The left rear tire had a left front tire pressure sensor on it. The left front tire had a right front tire pressure sensor on it, and the right front tire had a left front tire pressure sensor on it. How does that freaking happen? Where is the love, man? That's not how you treat your baby. So I was going to remove all of the sensors, but I made a game time decision to leave the sensors on and put them in the right places, with the exception of the left rear sensor. I'm gonna have to get one, and then we'll see if they all work. If they don't, then obviously I chose poorly and should have taken them all off. But again, all of the sensors are in the right spots right now, except the left rear. This one's going naked right now. We gotta find a sensor. Okay guys, it's the next day and I've got the oil drain plug reinstalled with a new washer. I'm gonna say we ended up with about 8 1/4 quarts of oil that drained out of the engine. This pan right here can hold about 7 1/2 quarts, and as you can see, it's pretty full. And in this pan, we have just under 1 quart. So again, I'm gonna call that about 8 1/4. All right, now let's remove the old oil filter. I've got some towels down in here to catch any oil that spills out, but it shouldn't be too messy because it's been draining all night. So let's see what happens. And that's really on there. Man, that's on there really tight. There we go. Not a drop spilled. I'm going with a Bosch oil filter and Mobil 1 high mileage 10W30. There is a ZR-1 guru or expert named Mark Hybeck. I'll put a link to his website in the description below, but basically he's done a lot of studies and analysis on the LT5 engine, and based on some of the articles that he's written, what you see here are a couple of the products that he recommends for the LT5 engine. I'm not going to get into the details. You guys can check out his website and read all of his articles and studies, but essentially he's an awesome resource, so I'm glad I found him. All right, so I'm just putting a little bit of new oil on the oil filter seal. You guys know the drill. Let's get this bad boy on there. All right, so that is finger tight and good to go. So I'm gonna start with 8 quarts, and then once I get the car back on the ground, I'll run it and bring it up to operating temperature, and then I'll let it sit for a couple hours and check the fluid level and top it off as needed. All right guys, oil change is done. The wheels and tires are back on, and we are back at Le Schwab to get an alignment. Okay guys, I'm back home. The 4-wheel alignment came out to 117.85, and here are the results. You can see from the before measurements that it was out of alignment, and here's the after results. He got it as good as he could get it. He said that in order to get it even better, I would need to bring in some shims that they could put in, I believe mainly on the right front. I honestly have no experience with alignments on C4 Corvettes, so let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. Let me know if you have any experience with having shims put in to get a better alignment. I'd be interested to know what that process entails and how necessary it is. I assume I can just get some shims online and take them in. They said they don't have any, but I could bring some in and they would install them. But let me know if you guys think, based on these results, if that would be a must-have or kind of a nice-to-have. The car did drive nicely on the way home. The steering wheel was straight and the car wasn't pulling in any direction. The first mod to the ZR-1 is going to be upgraded privacy cover retainer clips. So the privacy cover doesn't do that. These are super easy to install. They're just held in with 2 screws, and I have a pair installed on the 89 and they work awesome. So I just got the old driver side retainer clip off, and there's some sort of goo on it, and I have no idea what that could be. You can see some right there as well. Kind of weird. All right, the new clips are installed. Check it out. All the goo has been cleaned up. I'm thinking it was white lithium grease from the rear hatch weather stripping. It's probably really old, and on hot days it liquefies and creeps down into the cracks and crevices. That's my theory, but who knows? Let's see if we are back in business with the privacy cover. Yes. The first repair to the ZR-1 is going to be replacing this far right brake light bulb in the high mounted third brake light assembly. The replacement bulb is an 891 bulb, and to remove the third brake light housing, you have 2 torque screws that can be removed with a T30 Torx bit. There's not a lot of room to get the Torx bit and ratchet in place, but I should have just enough to get the screws out. All right, the 2 screws are out. So what I'm gonna do now is lower the hatch and start taking the housing apart so I can get to the bulb. I'm just gonna tilt the housing backwards. And as you can see, it's really dirty under there, but it looks like there's 2 screws that I need to remove in order to get the brake light lens out. I got the lens assembly to break away from the housing, and now I have access to the bulbs. I did have to give the lens assembly some good pulls to get it to break away from the housing. This process isn't hard, it's just a little tedious, and in hindsight, I wish I would have bought 4 new bulbs instead of 1, just so I could replace all of them while I'm in here. So just FYI, if you guys are doing this job on your Corvette, I definitely recommend replacing all 4 bulbs while you're in here. All right, so now I'm gonna get the new bulb installed and clean everything up, and then we'll test it out to make sure it works before we put it all back together. Okay, the new bulb is in, and I've got everything cleaned up. I used a little bit of polishing compound and ceramic detailer to clean things up under here, and it turned out really nice. So now let's test out the new bulb, make sure it works. As you can see, the new bulb works, which is great. So now I'll just button everything up. I did use a little bit of dielectric grease on the prongs on the new bulb. And I just wanted to mention that the reason I didn't stop and run to the store to grab more bulbs so I could replace all 4 is because none of my local stores carry this bulb. I had to order the one I just installed from Amazon. So just FYI, apparently these are more of a rare bulb that a lot of stores might not carry. Just a few quick things I want to mention before I let you guys go. The first is that off camera, I probably spent another 2 hours trying to get the fill plug out of the transmission. I did the best I could using the tools I have and all of the tricks listed on Corvette forum, and I still couldn't get it. So I'm gonna take the car to a shop, and since I'm having them do the trans fluid, I'm just gonna go ahead and have them do the differential fluid as well. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. I topped off the clutch fluid, but it's on my to-do list to have that fluid changed. I've started to change on the brake fluid using the turkey baster method, and that's going well. I still need to change the power steering fluid. I'm not gonna worry about the coolant because it looks brand new, and I'm pretty sure that this car has a fairly new radiator. So that's pretty cool. I also cleaned the inside of the wheels. They are now a silverish gray color instead of black. You probably can't see it very well on camera, but they probably need a few more passes, but this is a good start. As you can see, the new tires are looking great and they feel great out on the road. I'm really happy with them. And that is gonna do it for this video, guys. I wanna thank you so much for watching. There's lots of cool stuff coming up on the channel, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and take care, guys. I'll see you in the next one.